Oh yeah, it is Fiesta weekend, and that is the highlight of living here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So, what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about an amazing piece of history, something that I get to be involved in. Our guests are Brittany and Colin Graham, who, believe it or not, run my favorite balloon. It is a gigantic brain balloon, and it fits with, of course, what I do, which is neurosurgery. We got out there this morning. My wife Erica is here, so is Aaron, and I mean it was a blustery 4 a.m. and we did it.
Yeah, put 2 a.m. for me.
Oh,
Not
was it really?
Yeah,
Were you bleary and
Yeah.
did you have your pants on in time?
I did. I made it.
All
Oh,
right.
thank goodness.
What were you doing out there at such an early?
I didn't leave at 2. I actually got out there before. I mean, after that, but I woke up at 2 to get out there and just because we're
I think you have to do that.
KKOB started the balloon fiesta
can you
in
give-
1971.
Yeah, give a little
Yes,
history
please
because
give
that's
history.
amazing.
Yeah, so KKOB was part of the partnership group that actually started the International Balloon Fiesta in 1971. And what it was 13 balloons
Hmm.
in a parking lot at the mall.
Wow.
And this is what it's grown to.
Yeah.
1 million people.
Coronado, right?
Coronado. Yep.
So how many balloons are out there now?
I believe 551 are registered this year,
Yeah.
That is
to be exact.
Yeah, that is amazing. Well, I mean, I'd never really been down there before. A couple of times we sit up somewhere and kind of watch it, but to just watch what Colin does, and man, it's hot. Number one.
Yeah, you think it's going to be cold when you're around those balloons and they start firing off those burners
Wow.
and it gets warm.
So, do you ever get burned by it? I mean,
No, try not to. It's not very good.
Yeah,
It's not good for the health.
But I mean,
I would need the doctor for that.
yeah, I'm here for you. But I was just thinking, like, one false move to the left, and you're in front of that gigantic flame. I mean, you can get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that really happens.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, so the reason I wanted you folks to come on is because we got a couple of really important topics to talk about. I wanted you to sort of give us the general history of why somebody decided to build a balloon that looks like a brain. And by the way, I noticed as soon as I heard about this, the balloon, that it is anatomically correct. It's
Yep.
got it has everything I ever studied in the textbooks laid out in color coded fashion in the different parts of the brain. And I actually had this amazing experience. I had an old guy come up to me and he realized I was a surgeon, and he made me explain to him what the different parts of the balloon really meant and what they do. And it was kind of, I guess, was a free curbside consult for the gentleman.
Did you ask for his insurance card?
Yeah, I was like,
And I'll bill you later.
I take credit card, Foursquare.
Just Venmo me.
But it generates so much discussion, and of course, I think we're looking for a long-term relationship where Presbyterian Neurosurgery can advertise with the balloon, maybe put a sign up on it next year. We just kind of just got into it, but the object really would be to raise awareness about brain trauma, about brain tumors,
About stroke care.
and my I beat on this every week, but New Mexico does not have a certified comprehensive stroke program, and so this is a place where, and really it's just because it takes a lot to build such a thing. So the brain is going to help me make sure that we get the word out there about building stroke and what my department and hospital are doing. How did the brain balloon come to be?
So that's actually why it was built, for brain education. Dr. Scott Gibbs, who was out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, had the balloon built back in 2001.
Okay.
It was commissioned by him and built by Aerostar International in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They were one of the leading balloon manufacturers in the world back then, and they've since, unfortunately.
And by the way, having touched a balloon, like, I don't know, I thought it was going to be some like really thick, hard canvas. It's some parts of it seem very delicate.
It's about a 1.8, 2.3 ounce fabric at most.
Okay.
For most balloons, it has to be such that it will actually lift and not be too heavy, which is kind of funny when you're talking about the brain balloon, because it's one of the heavier balloons that's ever been built in history.
Really?
But yeah, so Dr. Scott built the balloon back in 2001.
And he was a neurosurgeon.
He was a
as I recall.
neurosurgeon, yeah.
Okay.
And he built this thing with brain education in mind. Brittany and I are not doctors and don't play one on TV or on the radio for that matter.
We're going to quiz you later on the
Yeah,
anatomy.
exactly. I
Make
got
sure
I got a cheat sheet here. Don't worry.
You do.
So anyway, but the balloon was built by Aerostar up in Sioux Falls. Brittany and I are both really very proud to be Americans, very proud of our country and where we came from as a nation.
Yes.
And a lot of really great Americans helped build this balloon up in Sioux Falls. And the thing was only flown for 5 years and ended up in a storage shed, essentially, in Iowa, a few years after it was built. And pardon the pun, the balloon was always in my head.
Sure.
I don't know why. I couldn't tell you.
Had you seen it?
Yes, but before we bought it, you could scarcely find a picture of this balloon online.
Okay.
I mean, it was like maybe 1 or 2 pictures out there of this thing. And it only had, when we got it, it only had 74 hours on it,
Whoa.
which is just
That's nothing.
unheard of.
Right. Nothing.
Absolutely unheard of for balloons.
Aaron's excited.
Wow.
Aaron knows a thing or two about balloons.
I
He's
do.
from Albuquerque.
Are you going to go up in it one day when we can get you a spot?
Yeah, if you want to, I'll do it.
All right. You got to lose half of your weight and then we'll put you in there.
I have to lose half of my weight.
Yeah, why are you always
I-
picking on Aaron's
Jeez,
weight? He's
I don't
pretty
know.
fit.
He looks better than me. I'll give him that. All right. So the sad story, a part of the story is I think he died.
He did.
And basically, is that why it became sort of abandoned? And
No, he actually passed away some years after the balloon became abandoned. What happened is his practice, as told by his widow, his wife, Barbie, who has been instrumental in us getting this balloon.
Okay.
And if she's out there listening, thank you, Barbie, for that. But my understanding from her stories is the balloon essentially got shelved because it was costing so much to get it out and to deal with the thing.
okay.
And then his practice started going really crazy and they just couldn't bother with it. They
It's
just totally forgot all about
So
it.
they were running it. They were doing what you're doing. They were going up in it. And,
No, they were never pilots.
Okay.
They hired pilots to fly it for them. They were also caught up in a dissolution of a large balloon operation in the Missouri area
I see.
during that whole time, and so that got, I think, very complicated to try to figure out who was going to operate the thing and what it was going to cost. And there are some numbers thrown around about $10,000 a weekend.
Oh wow.
To get this thing to be brought out, and they're just like, nah, I'm not going to do it.
So you don't have to give us specifics, I guess, but is that what it costs to run this thing?
No, not really.
No.
I mean, to build it new today,
Mhm.
corrected for inflation, would be $555,000.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
And-
incredible.
In 2001 dollars, that was about 300,000.
Wow.
But corrected for inflation is 550 now. So it is still to this day considered one of the most complex specialty shaped balloons in the world.
So how does that compare to a basic balloon?
Not even close. I mean, average Cameron balloon these days, built out of Michigan, about $55,000 to $60,000.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was I really thank you for the experience because I was sitting there watching you try to figure out how to fill certain lobes of the brain.
Mhm.
And then when we package it and put it away, you have to roll it up in a certain order and put it away in such a way that that it folds together correctly because it's such a complicated looking thing.
Complicated organ.
Exactly.
Very
It's
fitting.
gotten you into a lot of
It
trouble.
has.
hasn't it?
Me too.
So my question is, how does it work basically? Give me like a 4-sentence overview. As far as I took a lot of physics classes, so as far as I know, you got a bunch of trapped hot air. But it seemed like you were channeling hot air into different parts of the balloon, or how's it work?
No, not really. It's not that scientific in that regard. It's basically just, hot air is lighter than the air around it. The hotter you get it, the more it lifts. So it is essentially a trapped air bag of air, excuse me, and heat it up and go. Having said that, there's a lot of complexity to the overall design of that balloon. From a standpoint of technically, it is a double wall, double skin balloon. So, all your regular balloons are just a standard outside shell.
Right.
Well, this thing has an interior shell that all of this brain matter on the outside is then tied back into.
I see.
And that's where all your weight comes from. It weighs 1,100 pounds in the bag.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I think I pulled a muzzle putting it back on.
Yeah, probably. You're gonna need a doctor.
Yeah, no, I don't trust those guys. No, I'm just kidding. So
We
we're
have to
we're gonna take a break in 1 second. So call us if you got balloon questions, or we're gonna get into the medical side of what we can do with this here balloon that we've got coming around. 505-243-3333. The doctors and Dr. Scher, give me a call and we'll talk about your health issues. Thanks. All right, we are back. The doctor's in. We're taking your phone calls at 505-243-3333. We're here with Colin and Brittany. They fly the amazing brain balloon, which is right up my alley. I couldn't wait to have them on so we could talk. And so I think that the question that's on my mind and how long is that music going to keep going? That's what I want to know.
As long as I wanted to.
That's Jerry. He is messing with me.
It sounded like Pink Floyd to me.
I know.
And so that's
know.
why I liked it going a little
I don't think they're
longer
going to
than
tour
normal.
again, which is upsetting.
Oh man.
But there's a band that comes through that does like the Australia Pink Floyd. Somebody said they were
They were just here.
they were here.
Yeah, they were just here. They played the Kiva.
Did you go?
No.
I think that would be fun.
It takes a lot to get me out to a concert these days.
I hear you're a Coldplay guy. Is that right?
No, I'm not. You know what I did actually just buy tickets to?
What?
The Stray Cats.
Oh,
You know, that's a neurologic story. I'm glad you brought that up. So Brian Setzer lives in Minnesota, where I trained and I met my beautiful wife.
Yep.
And a few years ago, he noticed what we call dystonia, which is sort of the incoordination of the hands. And he was trying to strum and he couldn't really play very well. And it got so bad that he actually couldn't play the guitar. And so the band kind of disbanded for a little while and nobody could figure out what was wrong with him. And he is only just now coming back from, it's essentially a neurologic disorder, a wiring problem that they've fixed with some therapy and medications. But he is a great neurologic success because he was able to come back.
You know, we should try to have him on the show then.
Why
That
not?
would be
I
great.
can probably make that happen.
I would love to talk to him. And,
Yeah.
and I followed him for years when we were in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
planning on going to Toby Mac in February.
Oh.
Is the next concert.
Okay.
All right. So a little bit of background about our guests. So Colin and Brittany are not native New Mexicans, although you're pretty invested in what happens in New Mexico, bringing your balloons down here and doing your stuff. How long have you been coming here?
This is my 20th year here at Fiesta,
Unbelievable.
which is kind of humbling because I still feel like a kid.
And was it always at the Fiesta Park? Or
Yes,
when
yeah.
you
In
were-
fact, they changed over to that, I believe, around 2001, something like that. And
Yeah.
my first year was 05.
So I want to use the balloon again as a kind of a talking point to talk about brain health, which is just, it's really underserved. It's terribly, imagine a massive reservation in American Indian population that can't get to a hospital in time for
Yeah.
strokes. We're in a situation where essentially if you have those symptoms and you end up finally being seen by a small clinic, the time it takes to be seen, they almost send you home and say it's too late. And in this day and age, we have incredible technology, much like stents in the heart. We can go up past the heart, go into the brain and pull the stroke out.
Wow.
And the patient can walk out of the hospital without the permanent symptoms. And it goes up to 24 hours. There's a new study that came out a couple of years ago, and we used to only have 8 hours, and now we can still pull the stroke out and save a majority of the brain that's damaged. And so you are running the balloon that should lead the charge here for us to get stroke done. My idea is to have the balloon inflated right there in front of our hospital and kind of have a brain health day. And while you're here, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off, but if any of our administrators are listening, he's willing to do it for a couple of Panera sandwiches and a Diet Coke. No, I don't know.
I don't like Diet Coke, just Coke.
So, but has it been used for health purposes? Have you done things like that? Are you, is it what I think it is, a symbol of sort of
So,
brain health?
Yes, not so much with us because it's a fairly new asset for us. We've only had it, we're coming up to its second anniversary
Okay.
in our fleet. Having said that, Dr. Scott before us flew it all over the country in several different places. Kind of looking through the logbook was quite exciting for
Oh,
me
wow.
because you could see where they did this and did that, went here and went there, and it was really cool to then talk to the guy that did some of those flights. And they did a tremendous amount of, because of the size of the thing, they did a tremendous amount of static displays, kind of like we did this morning.
Yeah.
That's a lot easier with a balloon of that size because then you don't have to worry about getting the people to the landing site. Now I'm crazy and I like to fly it.
Cool.
And my crew that are listening right now, I thank them all very much for putting up with me because we fly that thing as far and as fast as we can.
Can you
we don't care.
can you land it?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's
It
awesome.
looks like it's awkward to fly, but I don't know.
You know, it's not bad. The awkward part of operating it in general is that it is not symmetrical at all.
Okay.
You know, the
I
cerebellum.
saw you getting blown around a little
Yeah.
bit.
Cerebellum, of course, is back behind me. and then the frontal lobe is
It's
30
huge.
feet.
He does.
Yeah,
He does.
huge.
He does know his anatomy.
Well, he
That's
has
the
to
thing.
now. Yeah.
Now I do. Yeah. I got my cheat
Always
sheet.
remember to keep your cerebellum behind you, and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's Dr. Scher's first rule.
Make sure it's back there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it does some twisting and turning in the air.
Okay.
Overall, it flies pretty stable. It's actually, on top of being a heavy balloon, it's very, very large. It's 170,000 cubic feet,
Wow.
which for any balloonists listening, that's probably at least 65,000 cubic feet bigger than
Wow.
the average large balloon for most people.
Gotcha.
So it's she's a big girl, but the
We still love her.
interesting tidbit, and we can get to this later on or whenever you want to, but it is the only balloon in history that has lead shot sewn into it.
Was this after
Is that to balance it out?
Yes.
I was
No.
going to ask you if there was
So
any
cool.
kind of special
Yeah.
design that you had to do
So every-
engineering wise to make it be able to balance and fly.
I've made some friends out of the guy that the chief engineer and the CEO of Aerostar at the time when they built this thing. And he said, we had a hell of a time trying to get this thing to balance
Wow.
because, again, it's not symmetrical. And so after, I don't know roughly the time, but 10, 15 hours of flight testing, all the balloon wanted to do was just tip up right in the frontal lobe and spin around in a circle. And they're like, they just went back and forth at the drawing board trying to figure this thing out. And again, that was why for so long this thing was in my head. I'm like, this is one of the most coolest balloons in the world, and it's
Wow.
sitting somewhere in a storage shed, you know? And so anyway, they went in and sewed 170 pounds of lead shot
Oh,
into the
wow.
frontal lobe of this balloon, and it brings it down perfectly level now.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
I was going to say maybe it was involved in the war and had taken some shrapnel.
It's got some shrapnel.
Oh, very good.
IED.
Yeah. The balloon over Iraq.
Yeah.
Um,
As a matter of fact, Dr. Scher, we've got Amy on the phone who wanted to talk to the balloon guys. Amy, what was your question for the balloon guys or the brain
I
guys?
saw you guys up today. We were at J5, and you guys, I think, are on K or something down there. But so someone was talking at lunch today how fast we can go in our balloon versus, when it's windy and otherwise. But how much propane do you guys carry, and how far do you normally fly?
Yeah, of course, the distance is going to be determined by the wind speed overall, but we carry 60 gallons at takeoff with that balloon, and that seems to do pretty well. I would say she burns about 35 to 40 gallons an hour. Again, pretty big balloon, so it flies decently, being that it's fairly large.
I would
Yeah,
I would
we
have said it's
love-
classified.
We love seeing them. I think all of your ideas. I've been a nurse 42 years. I think it would be a grand idea to teach people how not to take their brain literally lightly.
Yeah. I love
You
it.
know,
That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean that's a major part of what we're trying to do. Is thank you very much for your nursing career, by the way. So,
Thank you.
do you want to come and work for us? We need some good nurses who are flight trained.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know a few things. I might take you up on that, but I
Well,
love seeing you guys out there, and I do think you do serve a purpose, and people are
they're
in
talking
awe
about
of
it, yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
who's the big black guy from Star Wars?
Oh, yes, Darth Vader. Yeah.
Yeah, they were right next
The
to
two
her.
of
The
them
Darth Vader
together
balloon.
would be like the bean and the brain, but it would be.
Pinky, we need Pinky in.
Well,
the
we were
ring.
talking about the Pinky and the brain. One of our friends operates the pink elephant balloon, so that'd be appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are
Anyway,
you? Have you ever been a flight nurse, or do you fly in the balloon?
Of course I fly. Look at me. Of course I fly in the
course.
balloon. Yes. Yes, I do.
Because part of it's funny. I was just thinking about this. The way I think we're going to solve the problem of getting stroke victims from the reservations and from the distant parts of New Mexico is to develop a more robust helicopter service, or
Wow.
probably now they have stroke ambulances that actually have CAT scans inside. So
Wow.
and what's remarkable is you can send the ambulance out even if you meet them halfway. You can scan them and you can put in blood thinners into them even before they
Yep.
get to me. When we could do stuff in the hospital, and so
Brilliant.
and it's cool because in Phoenix they actually have this. They have these stroke ambulances that's all they do. And
So what do
it's-
they just load you up
Wow.
on heparin when you're driving?
it's not heparin, something called TPA,
not
but yeah,
heparin.
the
Okay,
concept
it's
is
not heparin.
I'll let you describe it. I got my flight nurse Amy. All right, Amy, you're maybe what we'll do is we'll pick them up with a balloon.
That's not.
There we go.
Yeah,
That would not work out well.
Might be a
No.
bit slow.
Yeah,
not
that'll be
fast enough.
50-50 on that one. So anyway,
Exciting.
Thanks, Amy.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Amy.
That's awesome.
Hey,
So
good flying for the week. I hope you're going to be out all the
we're
time.
going up tomorrow. I'm told.
Look forward in the air.
Yep.
All right.
Won't be long now.
Knock on wood. Knock on the propane tanks.
The history of ballooning, by the way, I happened to have looked it up a couple of months ago because I was fascinated with it. So I want to say, let me just try this. There was a very famous woman. She and her husband flew, and I want to say it was 1805 or something, 1832. She's
So
giving me the
1783,
Was
the,
it really?
the Montgolfier brothers
Yes,
built the
okay.
first. But
But-
do you know who flew in it? Did
I
you read
don't.
about that?
I-
So it wasn't people. It was a chicken, a sheep, and a duck.
Well, it sounds like our farm.
Were the first, yes. The theory is they were there to test if there was air available because
Okay.
above the tops of the trees, who knows?
Yeah.
Nobody protested that animal testing. They thought, all right, yay, they lived. So after that, they were going to try with people. Any guess who they were? They were kind of expendable back then.
I would have probably
Prisoners.
used-
Yes,
Oh,
prisoners, criminals.
I was
Who
going to
would you
say
have
radio
used?
hosts.
Not their wives.
Yeah.
Some people asked, was it their wives? No. So the criminals did not get to go. A politician named Pilote de Rosier liked all the press that had gathered and he
Uh-huh.
wanted all the glory for himself. So typical, right? Nothing has changed.
Right.
He flew. He lived. His balloon did not, which is why after the flight, hopefully tomorrow, we're going to drink. Do you know?
Champagne.
Champagne. Yes.
Oh, very good. all
Yep.
right.
So he's
I'm
the
an
one that
aeronaut.
started that. Excellent.
But there was this very famous woman who carried on after her husband. Was it his wife?
I don't know.
Did you find this on Wikipedia?
Yeah. I
Oh
should
no.
have. I love
Okay.
Wikipedia.
That's where I
Lord
get
knows.
my brain research. So there you go.
No, she was one of the pioneers of sort of the subsequent designs, I think, in the early 1800s,
Oh, okay.
and her husband died in a balloon mishap. But she carried on for, I don't know, 20, 30 years or something doing it. And
Interesting.
She was, very famous lady. I'll come up with the name of it. But Women in Ballooning. It's
Uh-huh.
the night. So do you pilot or
I
you,
do not
Okay.
pilot. We own 11 balloons. You'd think I
Wow.
would fly one of them, but no, I don't. We have 3 little kids, and that's my job at the moment. But
I do respect that.
Colin flies plenty for us. I'm a special education teacher.
Uh-huh.
So.
Oh, you know what? You're doing the Lord's
You know,
work.
I
Yeah,
often
I
get
agree.
asked
Hey,
if our
seriously.
multicolored balloon is for autism.
Uh-huh.
I will happily say, sure, absolutely.
There you
Let's do that.
Well, you guys don't know me for very long, but you know I needed to have a special education teacher.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Someone described me as the smartest dumb guy they ever met.
Oh my
So
God.
I don't.
Hopefully not a patient.
There's somebody who worked for me.
Yeah.
actually.
Oh.
I decided it's probably it was not an insult, but it could have been. So special education, I think,
Yes.
man, what an essential thing that you do. Our kids, I think we all know somebody who's got special needs
Mhm.
kids, but they were amazed. I mean, we're looking at my little girl, she's 6. As soon as all the flames went up at the same time,
Yes.
I guess that's during the national anthem. How do they do that? They just call you on the radio and say, pull the
so the
They tell us at the morning briefing that roughly 7 o'clock. That overflight's called Chili Flight. It's a local group of pilots that fly.
Yeah, they're
you know,
cool.
do routine. So they tell us, hey, when they fly across the field and the anthem is basically done, light them up. And generally, we don't do it because we're looking to fly and we don't
Right.
want to burn all that gas off that we can go fly with. So today is one of the first days we've done it.
Nice.
She most importantly, my 6-year-old was like, her jaw was on the ground. She was like, "This is the greatest thing ever." It's an exciting day for us. I mean, I've never been so close to all these balloons, and it's just you guys do just an amazing job. So, okay, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about a few controversial subjects. I think I would love to know your take on the recent politics. And I want to give a kind of a little discussion about Charlie Kirk because it's near and dear to my heart. So we'll do that if you guys don't mind talking about some of that.
You bet.
And I guess we'll take a break. Call us 505-243-3333 if you got any questions. And if you know anything about balloons, you can talk to my guests. I think there's hot air involved. That's about all I know.
And we'll be right back on 96.3 News Radio, KKOB.
So much fun.
All right, we are back with some very anthemic music that Jerry has provided. Thank you.
I'm playing it myself.
I I feel like we should be at church with this or something. I don't know. Call us 505-243-3333. The doctor is in. We're taking both ballooning questions and your healthcare questions, mainly about the brain today, because my guests are Colin and Brittany Graham, and they come from somewhere in the depths of Montana, I think.
God's country.
That is God's
that is going to be the theme. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit because I think we share some of the same sensitivities at the moment. And y'all are a pretty Christian family, and you got a bunch of kids that you're raising in this world.
Definitely.
And my wife and I we're still kind of reeling from the Charlie Kirk thing, and I didn't have a chance to kind of talk about this though. But from a neurosurgeon's perspective, I've taken bullets out of a good number of people's bodies in different ways and shapes and forms. Probably the most interesting one I can remember was a police officer who was chasing down a known pedophile, actually. And the guy was on the other side of the door and shot through the door. And the bullet, I'm kind of proud of this story, so I'm going to tell it. My wife's rolling her eyes. But the bullet had slowed down enough going through the door. It went up his thigh and through a hole in the spine that is normally there, and into the spinal canal where the spinal cord is. And it had lost just enough velocity that it banged around inside the canal where the spinal cord is, and it came to rest right next to the spinal cord. And so you can imagine in 1 millimeter in the wrong direction, the police officer would have been paralyzed. And I have pictures of me going in and pulling it out, and you can see the spinal cord here and a bullet right next to it. And,
Wow.
And he walked out of the hospital. And probably one of the most important surgeries I ever did. And what was amazing about it is that huge police presence after and we made him get out of the wheelchair and walk out of the hospital. And I mean, there was probably 1,000 officers there. I don't know. It was insane.
That's got to be humbling.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. And he was, and to this day we stay in touch, and he's a very, very Christian guy, dedicated to God. So the Charlie Kirk thing hits pretty deeply. There's parts of this story that I guess I don't know whether he was ever salvageable. Usually, of course, if you get hit in the neck, there's arteries and there's a spinal cord, and anytime those things are damaged, then usually the upstream problem is that the brain is deprived of blood and oxygen. And so I suspect that that's what happened. I don't quite know the details of how quickly he died, but maybe you do.
My understanding is he had lost oxygen to his brain prior to arrival at the hospital for up to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And
And that's pretty close. Like sometimes we can save them.
yeah, they did take him to surgery, and then he had passed away.
Yeah, 15 minutes is you might end up with some brain injury, but sometimes you can save a person depending on how bad that injury is. And so, I deal with a lot of really strange and sick patients that sometimes have that kind of thing happen to them. What is sort of your motivation to do what you do, and what are your thoughts on this? Has it affected folks in Montana as much as it has here? Everybody's kind of reeling from this.
Absolutely. Yeah. The country, I think in general, is reeling from it because it shouldn't have happened.
Right.
Period. Left or right, yellow or black or red, it doesn't matter. That is not something that should be happening in a country such as
It's not a
ours.
solution for your disagreement.
absolutely
on things. Yeah.
Certainly hurt us. I can remember where I was sitting when I heard it. I had a friend text me, and it was within 15 minutes of it happening, which is pretty, real. But incredibly sad. Been praying for his family and his children who, are going to grow up without their daddy now. His little boy is probably never going to know him other than through his videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the tough thing. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up was I think Aaron has done an amazing job writing a couple of op-ed pieces, which is what I admire about what you wrote about it. Was I think you considered both sides of the aisle. I think when you wrote your piece, I think what you were trying to say is we are not talking with each other the way Charlie Kirk would have wanted us to. There were people who were gleeful of the fact that he was dead. But on our side, the more conservative side of things, I think we probably have not also facilitated the discussion. Is that your contention?
Yeah, 100%. I really do believe that this country excuse me. I feel like we're kind of at a tipping point right now, and we have to stop talking at each other and start talking to each other.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter what the people say. We all have the same right to say it.
Right.
And we have to get back to that. If we don't get back to that, we're in trouble. Like our society as we know it is in trouble.
I liked what he used to say, which was, if you look at how a marriage fails, or you look at how a political discussion,
They stop talking.
Yeah,
Right.
it's everybody retreats to whatever is comfortable for them, and talking is an uncomfortable thing.
I mean, even when like the Jimmy Kimmel thing happened, I don't like Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
He was on the Man Show.
Right.
I mean, the stuff that he's, all preachy about, it's like, hey, dude, remember 15 years ago, you were in a different spot.
That was another-
Nonetheless, he still has a right to say what he wants to say.
Absolutely.
People being, when the FCC chairman came out and, was threatening to take licenses, it's like that hits close to home for us, for you.
Yeah. Right.
You do
Yeah.
this now too.
Right.
And it's like, that's not what our country was founded on.
I think in that regard, though, there has to be some kind of boundary within that culture that, I'm a big free speech advocate, but on the other hand, when you have a platform and like, you have to be accountable. And so
Sure.
I don't think he should have been canceled necessarily for, his views or what he said. But on the other hand, you lose viewership and you lose popularity and your numbers go
But
down.
see,
And
that's where free speech,
Yes.
that's where you're walking the tightrope,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
if you want to walk that tightrope and
that's your right.
that's your right, and you risk losing viewership.
Yep.
That's
Those are the consequences. yeah.
those are the consequences of your words.
But do I think the FCC should have came in
No.
and done,
I mean, he can't go into a theater and
Right.
scream fire.
right.
Right.
Exactly.
You
That's
can't
not
do
what he
that.
did.
No.
Right, yeah.
And I don't like him either. But
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that.
No, please don't.
No, no,
Dr.
Yeah,
Greg, it's not a
please
good
don't.
thing.
Neurological study, obviously.
Can you take another minute and just talk about the piece that you wrote? I'm going to reiterate what I was so impressed because you kind of reminded me about his wife getting up there and forgiving the guy that shot him.
Incredible.
And I think, what a presence, what a personality. She's remarkable. I'm not sure I could have done it,
No.
but
I think most people could.
I think what you wrote was you were thoughtful in the moment to say, look, we don't know whether we should have protested the folks in Minnesota who also got shot, and they represented the other ideology. But now that we're paying attention to it, now that we're focused on it, we agree. The dialogue should be better than it is now, and I really hate the argument that people have put out there that they're like, okay, well, where were you? Why weren't you?
What about
protesting?
Hortman? That was the big question that I got, because I responded to there were hundreds of comments and really, really nasty direct messages.
Well, the word I would use is this: it's like moral equivalency, right?
Right.
And so you're holding me to some standard. It's almost like you're reacting against this, what I'm saying and what I'm upset about, and telling me I'm not good enough because I didn't do it at the time that was okay
Yeah.
with you. That's
a way to discredit.
You
the
know,
it's
argument.
discrediting.
Gutfield, I think, I don't really watch Gutfield, but I did watch he's on some show where they have like
Five.
the five, yeah. And this woman's like, well, what about the Hortmans? And he's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
And for me, being in the position that I'm in, I did know about that. And when I was challenged on that, I answered honestly, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't say something, because we're all created in God's image and likeness, right? We're all people.
Yeah.
And anytime something like that happens, it's awful. It's terrible. They weren't as much in the spotlight as a Charlie Kirk were, as he was.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the thing. It's like, I mean,
They are much more of a state race,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Folks from
anyway,
Minnesota.
you guys have to read it. It's a really remarkable piece. And what I liked again about it was that it did not exclude people who were of a different ideology. It said, basically, I mean, you want to summarize your piece, but I mean, basically it said, he died for a reason that we need to honor, which is we got to start talking to each other.
yeah, that's basically the gist of everything. And we have to start talking to each other. Like, we have to.
How many people have read this thing?
16 million.
That's fantastic.
Do you think that's the juxtaposition of the two events? Is that Charlie Kirk made himself very accessible for talking, and maybe the politicians, people don't feel that way?
Yeah, and that was really the thing. It's like, I was really trying to hammer that home was he did something that other people aren't doing.
Not at all.
I mean, when you think about a Charlie Kirk event, right? The way we're set up in the studio right now, we're got to take a break in a second, but we're all sitting here looking each other in the eye,
Right.
and that's what he was doing.
Well,
you
and
know.
he always brought forward the other
Dissenting
side,
views. Yeah,
the
yeah.
dissenting views before anybody else.
Yeah.
And so that really was his goal.
Yeah, I admired the fact that he had the courage to go sit in a tent in a campus that was clearly against him.
The Lion's Den.
Yeah, he went in the
Yeah.
Lions
Oh,
Den.
man.
And whether you hate him or whatever else, I don't know that I would. I don't know if I have the courage to do that.
Yeah, we have to take a break.
All right, we're going to come back and talk about some health issues because Lord knows all this ballooning and politics. Call us 505-243-3333. We'll take your ballooning and or medical questions. Jerry, take us out. All right, you're back with us. The doctor is in on Saturday. I'm a little tired this morning because I got up at 4 something in the morning to go help unload and reload the brain balloon down at the Fiesta, and so I have a few calluses. I'm not just a white collar guy. With us today is Colin and Brittany Graham, and they're from what part of Montana are you from?
Yellowstone country, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
All anyone knows about our hometown is the Costner show, but they don't show you winter. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
And we love winter too.
Yeah.
my problem is my wife really loves Rip.
Oh, who doesn't?
Who
And-
doesn't?
yeah.
Actually, no. I'm just going to clarify that.
You-
I
you
am
do.
an amazing Kevin Costner fan.
Then are you Beth? Does that make you Beth?
Oh
What?
yeah.
She kinda has-
really in between.
Yeah.
She's spicy.
no.
She's
Okay.
spicy. She's
I
not
see
quite
the
as
shoes.
spicy,
I
but
see
she's
'em.
spicy.
I got a picture recently.
Oh, I'll pull it up.
Yeah, here we go. So she was supposed to get ready for dinner and
Okay.
get in the car and come and meet me downtown for dinner, and came out the door and there was a ferocious bobcat attacking our chickens.
Oh my gosh.
So she's in her high heels and a fur coat and shoots the bobcat.
It turns out
That
it was
is
actually
Beth Dutton
it was a
who
lynx.
would-
Oh, is it a lynx?
Oh
It's a
my
lynx.
gosh, that's the
Yeah.
most
Oh,
Dutton
that's
thing I've ever
incredible.
seen.
So I married Beth Dutton.
Yes,
there's-
congrats.
And
sir.
ironically, a week before I did that, he made some like backhanded comment in the middle of an argument, like, "You just don't act like you're Beth Dutton." I'm like, I'm not trying to.
I'm
do
gonna.
that.
and now she has the picture. to
She's like,
prove it.
watch out.
You need to
Dr.
just
Sure.
frame. You need
Watch
to
out."
have somebody. You need to commission an artist to paint that and
That's-
just stick it
yeah,
above
That's
your
no doubt.
mantle.
incredible. Yep.
Yeah,
Fire
so
shields
that's
and a
her.
fur coat.
She ain't boring. So I've always wanted to go to Montana, and I don't know whether the healthcare situation is similar to New Mexico, but we have our challenges here again. This is one of the few states that doesn't have a comprehensive stroke program to deal with patients that are having these
Yet.
major problems.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. What kind of challenges do you have up there, and is it as tough as we have here?
Reference to what we were just talking to with Mr. Producer. Brittany and I just had a son born a month early, January of 24, and dealt just briefly with the NICU for a couple of weeks in Billings, which is a level 2 facility for NICU care.
Okay.
But I don't know a lot about it other than that. I do know that if he had further complications, we'd have been in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I believe that's where the main frame is for that Northwest Mountain region.
So there's, I understand there's a few neurosurgeons, for example. There's a few specialists in that state, but it's pretty sparse and spread out the way that ours is.
Interesting little tidbit here. I flew King Airs for a couple of years for a
That's
company
so
out of
cool.
Billings that did all the doctor transports around the state.
Yep. Or
Because
organ harvest. and-
well,
yeah.
no, not so much that, but just physically flying doctors in for appointments.
Okay.
Bringing the specialists to
Yeah, to the
population.
really small towns.
Oh,
Some of them
wow.
are on
Interesting.
the res and different things. That was a really interesting program to understand how they were doing that, because they would just schedule them out a couple of weeks and they'd come
Yeah.
in for a day.
Yeah.
We'd wait around as pilots and bring them back home.
The cool thing for me was the specialty areas you don't even know exist. I'm like, someone does that.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
it's
yeah,
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pediatric
and we'll fly 'em
cardiology.
in.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's wonderful.
Do you know that so I wanted to be a pilot for a while. I'm so jealous of you, Colin. But I decided I just couldn't practice. I'm so busy with my life as a doctor. But where that is a huge thing, and the King Air thing is in Australia.
I have heard that. Yeah.
And so these doctor pilots, you have to be a pilot, you have to be a doctor and a surgeon, and they give you a plane and you
Off you go.
fly out to the middle. I mean, how big Australia is. And there's a whole flight service of doctor pilots, and that's what they do.
Pilatus actually built their new PC-24 jet based on some of that business out there, because
Yeah, it can land on a grass strip.
It can
I
land
did-
on a grass strip,
yeah.
a dirt
So
strip,
cool.
unimproved runway with
With
a jet.
A jet that can land on a grass.
How do they do that with the intakes? I mean, it's a FOD
They
situation.
protect them, and I'm not entirely sure how. I haven't looked real deep into it. I know I just saw one take off at Smiley Creek in Idaho at 7,000 feet elevation,
Wow.
grass runway.
and just
mode.
and just rolls.
Pretty
Mhm.
sick.
So okay, we still got a couple minutes. Well, I think the two states are probably similar. I imagine you guys see more snow, although in Harris we get a fair amount.
Yeah.
So
Good enough.
so the healthcare challenges where you're at are kind of similar. It's less doctors, bigger distance, hard to get help with.
Yeah, they call Montana a small town with long roads in between, which is very true. We're just went over 1 million people for the
In
whole
the entire
state.
state.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
All right. So before we head out, I'd like you to plug your business. What I'm excited to realize is that the Brain is just one of. Do you have a pumpkin?
We do. We have a whole fleet of shapes. We've got of course, we have the Brain. We have a pumpkin. We have a barn, and we have a beaver. And it's all
I
totally
support the beaver.
random. Yeah. Yeah.
You need to call Bucky's and talk to those guys. And
Yeah.
For sure.
There's a long story there, but yeah. So it's a lot of fun. We travel internationally and across the country,
Wow.
kind of
Mhm.
as we want to. It's not something that we have to do or do a lot of, I wouldn't say, but there's a fair amount. We went to New Zealand in March and Japan last November.
And you ship the balloon there?
We do.
Yeah.
We air freight
Oh,
balloons
wow.
around. So yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. Our website for the shape stuff is endeavorshapes.com, and happy to hear from you guys on there.
So if somebody has a bigger bank account than I do and wants to hire you for something, you'll come down for the right price and
You bet.
put the thing up. That's
You bet.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially like dairy events and stuff at the barn.
True.
Oh,
All right. Well, an amazing visit with you guys. I learned so much. The doctor is in. We are wrapping up, I think, with our day. We will certainly take some phone calls. We're here in 2 Saturdays from now.
are you?
And-
So are you back next time, or is Dr. Tierney sitting in for you?
The famous urologist, Dr. Tierney, will probably cover me. I have to go to Florida. And
Oh, darn.
he is wonderful with all your questions about erectile dysfunction, which seems to
Oh,
be.
jeez.
We have all these veterans.
No, I know it's gonna happen.
We had
They
so
all
many
wanna
calls
know
for
that.
Oh
that.
man.
It's way more popular than the Brain. What can I say?
Yeah.
So he's going to fill in for me and probably take all your sensitive questions. Anyway, thanks for listening. Colin and Brittany coming down from Montana. What a great experience. We'll help get that thing in the air again. The doctor's in.
Thanks for having
and
us.
We'll see you in
Yes.
2 Saturdays.